What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. I'm Andy the Middle-Aged Gamer and this is the brand new Umarex Berretta PMX gas blowback SMG manufactured by KWA product review. Now, as always, usual disclosures ahead. This is an Airsoft Toy. This is not a real firearm. There are no real firearms in this video or in any of my videos. This was bought by me and these are my honest and genuine opinions based off my own experiences with said Airsoft product. Now, with that out of the way, let's jump in. Okay, so let's start by asking ourselves, what is the PMX? Well, this is the officially adopted weapon of choice by the Italian Carabinieri. The previous weapon was Beretta's PM12, which was a stamped sheet metal tube gun that fired from an open bolt, but had some really cool control layouts, let's say, some nice features, and was really good on full auto, which most open bolts are with their slow rate of fire, but they've changed that and made this even better. So let's see what they did by zooming in and taking a look. Okay, so let's start at the rear and work our way forward, and let's discuss what they changed over the PM12 and why this is a vastly improved weapon of choice for the Italian Carabinieri. So, at the rear we have a nylon fiber reinforced stock. This is a vast improvement over the single offset wire folding stock that used to be on the PM12. They've now got a very thick but soft rubberized butt pad, which you can see here features these lovely serrations that grip your shoulder quite well. You do have multiple sling points, and as I say, this is better in many ways, especially that it is now in line with the receiver, which allows for better absorption of recoil. Now, it is foldable by pressing this button here. I do apologize for any noises in the background. They decided to do roadworks. Okay, now as you fold this over, you can lock it onto the receiver. It does have a nice detent there, and you can easily deploy, no problem. So fast deployment, a lot better, more rigid, there is no bend or flex. Now, one thing that is very similar to the PM12 is the monolithic lower receiver. Now, instead of it being made out of bent sheet metal, this is now made out of nylon polymer, which allows for a more easier to form ergonomic low receiver. And so a vast improvement there also in the lightweight. As you can see, we'll start with the grip. The grip is more akin to something like a BCM or a, Magpul MOE grip in the way that it feels. Obviously slightly different shapes, more ergonomic with it being Berretta. They are kings of that. You do see the soft texturing here all the way around, some rib textures here on the rear and at the front, but no horrible finger grooves, and it just fits so nicely in your hand. It's definitely a shooter's grip. Now you do have the molded in Berretta logos there into the grip itself, which is very nice touch. Moving up, we do have the enlarged trigger guard, giving you a nice space for gloved hands. And let's talk about the trigger. The trigger is metal, it's not a plastic trigger. Now if we move that to the rear, I'm going to remove the PMX mag. There is no BBs in the mag, by the way, and the chamber is clear. So, as you can see, this is more akin to the Berretta M92 single stage trigger, because you have a 1, 2 and a break, and then there's a 1 and a 2 over travel, and a 1, 2, 3 to reset with a very quick spammable trigger. Now, like I say, this is very similar to a Berretta M92 single stage, and to be honest with you, it's about a 2-pound pull. It's very lightweight. It's definitely race quality in that respect, but it is an SMG trigger, so there is no, how can I say this? There's no wall, it just breaks, but it does give you a tactile break and audible, and you do have a tactile and audible reset. It's very nice, and like I say, very light, very easy to spam and shoot. Amazing. Now, let's talk about the fire control on it. As you can see, right now I've just switched it to safe, and it's quite nice. The controls are right where you need them. They're not like an MP5 that you have to stretch or have really elongated thumbs. This one is quite nice. It is ambidextrous and mirrored on both sides, by the way. But this takes after the PM12 quite correctly. Except for being made out of polymer instead of aluminum, this is quite nice. You have nice little grip serrations there on the top, so your thumb doesn't slip, and it is a 40 to 45 degree throw to semi, so it's quite simple. And then, of course, if you wanted to go to full, it's another 50 to 60 degree all the way around until you hit fun mode, as you would say. So this was done because the Italian Carabinieri didn't want their, officers accidentally going from semi to full, especially when they're used to ARs. They are soldiers at the end of the day, and they use AR-15 derivatives or similar in fire controls. And like most people, you would go straight the way down to semi. In this, no, you can go here, and if you go, oh, dang, you know for sure. And with the positive tactile, detents on it, it's very nice, very easy. You're not accidentally slipping, and it won't get bumped or just slightly move like you can get with some gas blowback rifles. Now, all the pins you see here are steel. I'm going to give you that in advance. Now, moving forward, you do have your only piece on this gun that's non-ambidextrous, and that's your bolt release right here. But as the charging handle here is reversible, you can flip it to the other side and use it a la AK to release the bolt if you wish, giving it the ambidextrous side. For me, I like it on this because, as you can see, if I can pull that in, it is not parallel with the receiver. It's at a slight angle, and with the way that it's contoured and that, I've had no issue with it on my kit throughout all my testing. I've been wearing all my usual kit. It's never caught on any of my gear, and it's just been great. And as my hand is here up at the front, it's nowhere near the charging handle, so it's fine. And I am right-handed, so therefore having this on this side just makes more sense. Okay, now let's move down to the mag well on that. The mag release, you have this nice, lovely button here for ambi, so you can do the reloads a la MP40 or Sten. So you can push the button in, pull the mag, slap the new mag in if you wish. But as you can see, it is contoured on the inside, giving it a flared appeal, and that does help with reloads. It's a lovely magwell. Now, moving up, we've already discussed the charging handle. You do have the PMX embossed into the upper receiver there, and we do have the Berretta name there, and you've got the creator P. Berretta, Gadon, and the address sort of thing there. So that's really, really nice. Okay, this is your takedown pin. We'll get to that when we take this apart. Now, at the front and rear of the upper receiver, you do have steel ambidextrous sling loops, one here at the rear and one there at the front. Like I say, they are ambidextrous, they're on both sides, and they're going to be your main ones, with them being made of steel. That's awesome. The upper rail is monolithic as well and is full metal. For those of you who like metal rails, you know who you are. And you do get officially replicated PMX front and rear sights. Now these are awesome. As you can see, they have pistol sights while they're in their non-deployed. So if I fold this around, it'll allow me to get this on camera for you. But, oh, come on, there we go. You can see right there, you've got your 3 dots. You can co-witness underneath the T1 red dot, which is awesome. Or you can flip them up for their deployed look, and you can co-witness through your optic the sights. The front is adjustable for elevation with that grub screw at the front. It's a nice big blade as well, so it's clear. And the rear is a aperture peep sight that is adjustable for windage. Again, via a grub screw on the right side. It's really nice. They are some of the best sights on the market, and considering they're full metal and they're free with the gun itself, fantastic. Now, let's move to the front, handguard / rail system. You do have polymer rails on the 3, 6, and 9. The 3 and 9 o'clocks are removable. If you don't want them on there for aesthetics, you can remove them. They are held into brass inserts on the inside, so they're not going to slip, and they're just grub screwed on. From putting lights and lasers on this before, through my testing phase, this is very rigid. You're not going to lose zero. You will feel very comfortable putting something on there. No problem at all. You do, out the box, get this vertical foregrip from KWA and Umarex, and it is a lovely foregrip. It feels very comfortable. The texturing around it is really nice. And like I say, it is just an awesome piece of kit. Now at the front, you do have a full metal barrel, and here is a tri-lug, I would say, mount or muzzle device. It is removable. There is a small little grub screw there, and you can de-thread it. But because KWA have gone the extra mile and put the inner barrel all the way to the tip there, or just below it, about 5mm before the tip, your threads start here. You will need a extension if you wish to convert this and put a, I would say, tracer unit or something like that, or a different muzzle device on there. You will need a little extension on there. But that's entirely up to you. I don't mind the tri-lug. I do have tri-lug suppressors that I just slip my, I would say, lighting unit or the tracer unit inside, and I can run it on this no problem. Now, let's flip this around and show you the other side. Okay. So when it comes to markings on your mag well there, okay, retractor bolt to see if loaded, basically telling you to do your press checks and read manual before use. And you do have your caliber there, 6mm, and your serial number is just underneath, nice laser etched in. Okay, you do have your, how to say, trigger finger mag release, which is extended, and it's really easy to use. And as I say, you have your full mirrored, how to say, fire control group, which is awesome. Now, there's where your bolt charging handle will plug into on this side if you wish. And you, like I say, so you can flip it, that's not a problem. And you do have PMX there, and I don't know if I can get that in. Berretta trademarks, licensed by Berretta Italy, made for Umarex Germany. So yeah, really great, fully licensed, absolutely awesome. And that's where your stock will latch onto. Now, with all this cool, how to say, overview, let's take it outside and let's see how she shoots. Okay guys, I'm using 0.25 gram BBs and green gas. Okay, so that gives us an average of 292 FPS, which is bang on for 0.25s and CQB. Max of 296.7. Awesome. Okay, so let's test the accuracy and step it back to about 10 to 15 meters in between there, and let's see what she can do. Okay, let's see what we can do with the Texas style. Let's step it back to 10 meters and let's see the accuracy. Nailed it. Okay, as you can see, the grouping on this is absolutely awesome. Straight away, you're getting a 2-inch at its furthest point, and under 2 inches, no matter which way we do it. Phenomenal. For stock internals, straight out the box, no upgrades, at 10 to 15 meters, that is phenomenal. And yes, like I say, I did shoot this upside down, but that's fine. Now, let's yeet that out of the way. Let's see how they did it. Well, we'll start with the magazine. This does look like a MP9 magazine, and in the real steel this weapon will use B&T MP9 mags or MP26 mags if you can find those. But here is the caveat with Airsoft. It does look like an MP9, but I would hold off from using it. There's a few reasons why you would want to choose this instead of that. They are all, how would you say, 48 rounds. Yes, also the VMP1, which is a copy or clone of the MP9 magazine with a couple of differences, but it's generally the same dimensions. With the PMX, you do have your nice follower here, which is a lot better to grab your nail in and slide down. But as you can see, the fill track here is wide enough that from top to bottom you can fill it. You're not having to do like you would do with the MP9 and flick it to the bottom, it locks into place, and then fill it through the feed lips. Or with the VMP1, again, secure it to the bottom and fill it from here. With this, you can do it all the way up. But one thing I've noticed is that when you insert the MP9 mags, the bolt carrier itself lifts up, meaning that the, how to say, gas seal here is putting too much pressure on the actual bolt carrier, which will shoot this bolt, how to say, out of alignment. And that's not good, causing extra wear and tear on all your parts. And you do have a slightly more stouter recoil impulse and a higher FPS, which will put this over the site legal limit if you're using the MP9s, from testing that I have done. Now, when it comes to price, these are identical to price to the MP9 mags, coming in at $54.99. Compare that with the Glock 17 50-round stick mags. They're pretty much the same price, give or take. I'm sure you could get them on discount somewhere. So I would use these just for reliability's sake and longevity of your weapon. Yes, you can get them in. I've had some that don't fit, some that do. I would say that won't catch on the magazine lock and secure in place and they'll drop out. So yeah, stick with the MPX mags and you'll be fine. These can, by the way, run in an MP9, just FYI. Now, let's move that back out the way. Like I say, awesome piece of kit. And it's really cool. The valve technology is silent on the rear as well. It is very nice and quiet. It doesn't spray gas everywhere. And like I say, you will get around about 2 full mags of BB. So that's just under 100 rounds on one charge of gas. You could possibly extend that with weather. Right now it's really cold and windy. But yeah, so it's awesome magazine. Very good. Now, let's start with the receiver. Let's see what they did. As I said, this is completely reinforced nylon. There is no bend or flex. And like I say, the front rail is all part of it. It's completely monolithic, securing in place here at the front and at the rear here, along with the pin. Now I'll get my trusty magnet. Straight away, the giant, how to say, cross pin that secures them together is steel. The mag release and the trigger are aluminum, but the pins that go through are all steel, which are the important parts. Now, as you can see, your fire control is here. It's a polymer fire control. If we can get that to zoom for you. Come on, there we go. Right, and like I say, quite nice. It does have a metal spring just under there. That's steel. Your hammer is steel. And your, how would you say, trigger disconnect is steel. And your firing pin is steel. Okay? Your bolt stop / release right here, that is aluminum. It is not a steel bolt stop. But that's not a bad thing. And we'll get to that as we go through. So, very good. Awesome piece of kit. And like I say, very simplified and looks very much like a Tech 9. Okay. Now, let's talk to the end cap of the tube. With this being a tube gun, you have a nice end cap on the reel. And on here, and it is full steel, quite nice. And inside is a lovely foam pad, which absorbs a lot of, how would you say, the bolt bounce coming back, how would you say, to the rear of the gun. You do have these detents, which are, I'm going to say, if we can get that to focus. Come on, there we are. Those little holes that are dotted around are for you to use an armorer's wrench to tighten it and untighten it. Okay, but yeah, it's an overall awesome gun. That indexes in the lower receiver inside and locks it in place there. Now, as I say, front and rear sling loops are steel, so you're not going to worry about losing them or your sling snapping or what have you. Now, let's go to here. So if I take one of them off, this is your, guide rod and spring and your main housing unit. Guide rods are, and the springs are steel, which is awesome, and they are bolted in here at the rear and secured in place. The main housing is a polymer. Again, it's not bad, doesn't need to be steel. Not everything needs to be steel, but this being lightweight, it's very good, and there's a reason why. So let's take a look at the bolt carrier itself. Now, straight away you will notice you have conical brass rollers on the top and at the front and rear, which are great for making this move within that tube nice and smooth. There are 4 spacers, which I will advise you in advance. They do fall out when this bolt is not in the tube, so keep an eye on them when you're cleaning and drying them. Make sure you put them back in. They do keep the bolt perfectly centralized so that you don't have any issues or extra wear and tear. There is a polymer insert here at the rear where your guide rods and springs will go through. This whole bolt carrier weighs approximately 120 to 130 grams. It's very lightweight. So again, that's main reason why they don't need to do full, I would say, steel on the bolt stop or anything like that. As you can see, here is where the bolt stop will catch, right there, and it locks on no problem. You can see where the hammer unit here is nice and substantial, which will set and trip, I would say, all the disconnect levers and so on. Everything works perfectly fine. You can see the crappy painting. I'm going to give them a knock with that around the face of the bolt, where this impacts with the hop unit at the front or the breech. Now, you do have a full metal nozzle, and it does have a nice, strong, forceful, how would you say, return spring. The loading arm is metal, but one of the other improvements are these small little fins in there. I'm not sure if we can get them in for you. These fins on the nozzle kind of do what a Crazy Jet does. Okay, so if anyone knows anything, a Crazy Jet will siphon, how would you say, as the air travels down the in a barrel, it gets to about 1.5 inches from the end. It's siphoned off and creates a vortex ring around the BB. Because yes, your BB is traveling and it gets some backspin, but it takes a few meters for the backspin to basically stabilize the BB. So what that little vortex of air does is keep it stable for the first few meters and allows for better accuracy. That's why on SMGs, SBRs, or pistols, Crazy Jets are awesome. What this does is laminate the flow of air so it's not so unstable behind the BB, giving it a better flow, better stability, and does exactly the same sort of thing, but all inside the inner barrel, which is really, really cool. Now you can see here where I keep it on the left, and on the right your charging handle goes there. There is, I'm not sure if we can get that on the camera, let's have a look, a 9x19 on the bolt, just like the real steel. So yeah, that's awesome. And as I say, that's your detented charging handle to switch from either side. Now, let's move on to the upper receiver. Okay, so the upper receiver, as you can see, the nice tracks that are forming on the upper receiver where the brass rollers were in the paint. It's quite fine. Now, like I say, this upper is one big metal aluminum tube all the way up to here with a polymer shell and metal on the outside. Now, the big change for KWA this time, for this year, is the rotary hop. Let's see if we can get that in. Okay. Come on, let's focus. There we go. So, as you can see, you have a, I would say, grooved rotary dial around the hop that you can easily, I would say, adjust the numbers. They're all numbered there, and you can have many little points in between those. There's quite a big range, and that is one of the absolute awesome upgrades from KWA. No more crappy tools through the breech that would slip, no more little detent that secures the little adjuster inside here, the teeth top of the hop chamber itself. None of that, just a better, simple way. And you can see here this metal rim that goes all the way around from here all the way around there, and that's what the bolt carrier is impacting on. So that's awesome. You have a full metal log here, nice and thick. The barrel is free flow in there, again, for better stability, so you can impart, I would say, some force on the handguard, and you're not actually going to impart on the barrel itself, which is great. To remove the barrel, there are some screws here, and there are 2 on the other top, but also here at the side that bolt into the hop chamber to keep it secure and in place. It isn't going anywhere. And yeah, so basically, those are what KWA brought to the table this time. A better nozzle system, a very good gas efficient magazine, and a improved hop. Their inner barrel and bucking are still proprietary, which I don't like, but we'll get into what I do and don't like when we reassembled this awesome piece of kit. So let's do that now. So one of the other improvements, like I say, with the new bucking system inside it is the gas efficiency. So if I flip this around to here, I'm going to pull on the charging handle. There is no hammer underneath, so when you see this stop, right there is where your bolt has to travel, which is about 40% of travel before, well, 41, yeah, before the actual nozzle breaks its seal, meaning it's extremely, I would say, gas efficient in that respect. And you, like I say, it's just awesome. Now to assemble, you just literally put the 2 halves on, like so, push back, and tap that through. We'll do a quick function test. Onto fire. Okay. So that works perfectly fine. So, okay, if you've gotten this far in the video and you're not subscribed and you like what you see, then please hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the notification bell. That way you're notified whenever I upload. It really does help the channel out and keep this channel growing. Everyone is welcome here and everyone is equal on our team. So that is for you. If you want to go one step further, you can use the YouTube thanks button. That allows you to donate directly to the channel itself, which in turn will obviously help put bigger and even better weapons on the table for you guys to see. So just in advance, a huge thank you to everyone. Now let's get on to my final thoughts. Okay, so let's start with the negative list, as that's the shortest one. First of all, magazine compatibility. Yes, you can lock in a MP9 mag or a VMP1 mag for the most part. I've had a few issues with that. But when you do lift that bolt carrier and push a lot of force on the bolt carrier to the top of the receiver, which will pull your nozzle out of alignment for the, I would say, the bucking, and therefore you're going to put wear and tear on that. It's just a cascading effect. For me, I would stick to the PMX magazines, but like I say, that's going to be up to you, but that's what I would recommend. Now, like I say, the other negative is the inner barrel and bucking. We currently reside in 2024, and many companies, thank God, are going down a universal standard, as you would say, which have all rallied around the Marui spec. VFC use it and many other companies, but there are still some companies that kind of go down their own proprietary way, like KWA, etc. And I do think that's a negative, especially if you do damage it. But with that, that leads us on to our positives. So, positives about this amazing piece of kit. Well, first of all, like I say, it's very accurate out the box. A 2-inch grouping at 10 to 15 meters. You couldn't ask for much more out the box. It is phenomenal with that, what they've done with their new hop system, bucking, inner barrel and nozzle, all combines together to be an absolute outstanding piece of kit. Now, like I say, your mileage is going to vary, but I've been able to shoot this up to 35 meters with 0.25s. I'm sure with 2H, you could possibly push it to around about the 40 meters, which is more than enough. I don't really think you're going to need more than that, as most CQB engagements is within 10 meters. But that's entirely up to you. The trigger on this is phenomenal. Like I say, it's super light, very spawnable. Your speed softer out there is going to love it, especially if you like to run fast. The point shooting with the accuracy is just exceptional. And like I say, the overall build quality of this is phenomenal. It uses polymer where it needs, just like the real steel with the outer shell, but the internal tube, full aluminum, steel end cap, steel parts like the hammer, etc., and all the pins. They're the important parts, and they are steel. Everything that doesn't need to be is made of a lighter, strong alloy, whether it's aluminum or zinc, and that just works, especially in today's climate, to keep that price down. As prices have been going up with airsoft, you know, you can find this now. I paid $399.99 on the pre-order. I got mine just before Christmas, as you guys saw with the unboxing video, and I ran this absolutely like hell for the last month, and it's just been absolutely awesome. With over 3,000, nearly 4,000 rounds now through this, I couldn't ask for a better SMG on the market, especially when you compare it to, which I would say its nearest rival is the VFC MP5K PDW Gen 2, and this actually beats it hands down. It's a lot lighter, yet feels just as strong and rigid, and it is a lot more accurate and faster cyclic. So, yeah, I would definitely say this is a lot better than that, and you all know that I'm a HK fanboy. So, with that, I would say this is an absolute outstanding SMG, and definitely worth a place in your armory. Or if you're getting into gas blowback and you don't want to drop too much on a gas-powered machine, again, $399.99 from where I got mine. I have seen it for $370 on sale, especially at a certain company called Patrol Base. Get yours while you can. But yeah, basically, it's one of those. It's a really great, light recoil, soft shooting, but very fast, very accurate piece of kit, and I would definitely recommend it. What they've given you is awesome. I really do think that sitting down to buy Umarex has really improved KWA's, I would say, quality and standards, and let's see what it does in the future. I currently have one of their second, I would say, upgraded internals, as they call it, for 2024, and that's the F90 I'm currently reviewing. By the time you see this video, you would have seen the unboxing for that. So, yeah. Spoiler alert, it's still accurate, very accurate. But yes, with that being said, we reached the end of the video. I've been the Middle-Aged Gamer, and as always, you guys have been absolutely outstanding, and I can't wait to see you again in the next video.